Hey everyone, and welcome to the Let's Be Real podcast. I'm Nain, your host for the 94th episode. The road to 100 is very, very slow right now, but we will definitely get there as promised. On today's show, we'll be covering what we've watched recently, the F1 trailer, our thoughts on season 2 of Severance, Ted Lasso season 4, and just an Oscars recap because we obviously didn't do it. I'm joined here by James and Kyan. Boys, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Doing good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Like you said, it's been a while. We haven't even talked Oscars yet, which just blew my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we're here now.
We are here now. 94, 6 more to go. Countdown is well and truly on. So we'll jump straight into that first topic. Is there anything you guys watched recently? Anything worth talking about on the potty?
Well, we're going to talk about Severance soon, so obviously not going to mention that. Oof, what have I watched that kind of Netflix series that's kind of blowing up now, Adolescence. Have you guys-
Adolescence, I've heard of that. The one-shot one, yeah.
Yeah. So every episode's just one take.
Yeah.
And it's just about some 13-year-old boy who's accused of murder. Super interesting in the way they do it. The kid that was in it is like, it's his first time acting, and one of the episodes is just kind of him in a room talking to someone else, and it's just like, holy shit! It took 10 tries apparently to get that right, but just 50 minutes he's just there acting the entire time.
That's
No cut.
insane.
Yeah, it's really impressive how they've done it, and I remember watching. I'm like, holy shit! Like the acting's like really good. Because getting a good performance out of a child is hard enough, but getting it in one take, a continuous take like that, it's just even harder. But good show. I would recommend that. I know the kid. I think is Owen or something. He's going to be starring in Emerald Fennell's next movie.
Oh, good on him.
Heights. Yeah. So,
Good on him.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That kind of reminds me a little bit of Roma, where you have a actress who wasn't an actress. She was just picked out of some village in Mexico.
Yeah.
She was a teacher, and then they're like, hey, star in this movie that's entirely one take, and you have the entire sequences where there's no cuts, sort of thing. I mean, they're nothing alike, of course, but it's a similar situation in terms of plucking the actor out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I've been meaning to watch it. For me, I finished Invincible recently, season 3. It was a pretty good episode. I think it's currently rated as like the second highest rated episode of all time on IMDb. Yeah, but I mean that will drop over time.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And what else? I've actually been watching White Lotus.
You started that?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like on season 2 now.
Is it worth watching? Because I've
It
heard
is.
stuff, but I haven't heard like amazing things that I'm like, okay, I need to watch this.
It's one of those shows where it's like incredibly, like, it's really digging into like the social topics of today.
Right.
Like it goes into a lot of those sort of like social topics, and it's kind of unafraid to tackle them. And it's really impressive character writing. Like it's very character driven, and just all really well rounded stuff. But yeah, other than that, just Sevi as well.
Yeah. Are you gonna do Daredevil?
No,
I haven't started that yet.
no. I've heard it's gotten mixed sort of thing, but I've heard it's decent.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Like the third highest Daredevil season rated.
Yeah.
Better than one of the Netflix ones, so that's good.
Yeah.
Out of four seasons though, and it's rated.
But considering how much people love the Netflix series, that it can beat at least one of those seasons.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing for Marvel. They need some winning characters right now.
They do.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
What about you now?
Yeah, I haven't really watched much. It is sporting season, so been watching a lot of that in the weekends. I did watch Companion the other night. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. Drive to Survive, I watched that. And I've actually watched the first 2 episodes of Daredevil as well. Yeah, I see what people are saying about how it's not as good as a Netflix one, Netflix ones, but I've only seen 2 episodes, so it might build from there. But I don't think it'll reach those sort of heights.
Apparently Punisher is in the 4th episode,
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see what comes from that. And then also James and I saw Snow White, and
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I
that's
saw that
right.
today as well, so I don't know why we didn't mention that.
yeah.
Wow. Wait, you watched it again today?
Yeah. Just for work, there's like a media partners invitation for a free screening with Val Morgan. So, yeah, pretty cool. I got to go to that, but the movies are decent. I would say it's decent. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what I said to you. Just it deserves that kind of 60% rank in Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what it's sitting at now, but I came out of it with Nayan, and I'm just like, there's no way it's ever gonna like improve what it can. So it's just fine. It uses a good story and it plays it safe, and that's just kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Although Gal Gadot was atrocious in it.
Oh,
Like,
dude, she's
honestly.
awful.
Dude, I mean, who is surprised by that?
Like there was
Rachel- yeah, go.
there was like one song that she was singing, and like she was doing facial expressions, but she was trying so hard. It was like cringeworthy. I was
Like
like,
overacting,
I was
yeah.
like trying so hard not to like laugh during it.
Yeah,
It was so
and
bad.
it wasn't sung well. Rachel Zegler, though, I think she's really good. Like,
Oh, she's a terrific singer.
like no, just like her performance as well. I thought she was actually really good in it. I think she has like star material.
Yeah.
But Gal Gadot,
She is a star.
huh? I like bigger. Like,
Okay.
you know, like one of the movie stars, like I guess.
Yeah, not just a musical star.
But Gal Gadot, Gal Gadot should just retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, she no, like honestly, like she has no good roles. I was watching it today. I'm like, wow, this feels like everything that she's ever done. Has no versatility and no range as an actor. I'm sorry, just go back to modeling
Yeah, pretty much.
before it's too late.
Ouch. Okay, interesting.
All right, we'll jump into F1. It is releasing on June this year, directed by Joseph Kosinski, and it stars Brad Pitt. It's pretty much it was directed around about the time of last year's F1 season, in and out of one of those races, and it's obviously about Formula One racing. A trailer dropped for it, so lads, we've all seen it. What are your thoughts on this trailer? Kaya was your top. It was your number one most anticipated. You go first.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's our best shot this year at getting something incredibly cinematic, like super, super cinematic. I mean,
Avatar exists.
is it definitely going to release this year?
I don't know. I have to wait for
Yeah.
the trailer first. But
Yeah, we've not even had a trailer, so I don't know about that. With James Cameron and his fucking delays.
2026.
2028, more like.
I know. I'm expecting something, you know, there is a difference, in my opinion, between something that's cinematic like Avatar and something that's cinematic like this, where there's fantastical cinematic look, and then there's a realistic immersion, kind of like you feel this is real. Like in Avatar, you're never really fully convinced it's real. It's very digitized, you know.
Yeah, but it's immersive in a different kind
It's
of way.
immersive in a world building kind of way.
Yeah.
So with this, I just want to, again, it's kind of like that Top Gun Maverick thing where you can like feel the gears shift. You can feel it's all surround sound. You can feel the roaring engine, all of those things,
Yeah.
the rattles. And that's the kind of thing that I'm really excited for, that sort of intensity. And that's really the best shot at like super, super cinematic feeling that I can get this year, because as sort of the industry shifts more to streaming and cinema starts to fade a little, I kind of hunger more for that cinematic big picture movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with a budget of 300 million, it has to kind of deliver.
It does.
Yeah. I really don't know where it's going to hit with the box office. I think it was a perfect marketing move, just releasing it in between the new Drive to Survive season that released and the start of the F1 season. Good time to, when everyone's kind of talking about F1. I really hope it does well, because, I mean, Apple was a part of this. They're a big part of financing the movie and getting it off the ground. And, you know, they're obviously one of the players in the streaming side of things. You know, they did Severance. And I read that they're losing like $1 billion.
A year.
Yeah, $1 billion a year in streaming. So where the whole streaming versus cinemas debate goes, I think it is a very fluid, I guess, time for both industries. But yeah, I think just encouraging these streamers to get into the theatrical model is going to be so important for it. But in terms of the trailer, what I thought is I'm conflicted. Like, I completely agree with you. I put like F1 in kind of like the same bracket as like, obviously Top Gun Maverick, but like Mission Impossible that comes out this year, I think that's going to be a great movie to see in terms of getting that spectacle on the big screen, especially from what I've seen in the trailer. You know, designed for IMAX kind of movies, right? So yeah, I'm completely convinced we're going to get a really immersive and something that's going to make you feel things on a visual level during the watching experience, particularly on IMAX, of course. But I don't know where the story's going, and that is what's key for me most, because Top Gun Maverick, sure, it looks great and it feels great, but it's nothing without that story behind it. I think it had a really powerful story, and it brought in new characters to this universe that were really fun and engaging, and they really tied it to the first one in a good way, but establishing that one as its own. So we're going to have to see what the story is going to be behind this. That it feels kind of, at least from what we've seen, about like this old experienced driver, it feels very similar to, what you've kind of seen in F1, which is kind of cool, but it also feels a little bit like, Ford versus Ferrari storyline with this older experienced driver who's not particularly well liked. So yeah, we're just gonna have to see how it goes. But yeah, if Joseph Kosinski does something that's close to Top Gun Maverick, doesn't even have to match it in terms of quality, it's going to be a damn good time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this looks very similar to Top Gun Maverick in terms of story. You have like this old vet coming in with all these new drivers or pilots, and trying to prove himself again. I can see the story being very, very similar to Top Gun Maverick in this sort of case. But like I completely agree with Kyan in regards to the visuals. I think this and like the sound and like the more technical side of things, I think that's what's going to bring a lot of people in. Especially if considering that they like created like the world's smallest IMAX camera just to fit on the cars as well. Yeah. That is insane. Like this is a movie you definitely have to see in IMAX. So I'm definitely excited for it.
Yeah, and I think it's important not to understate that as well, because when we just talked about Avatar, right? That was almost purely spectacle. The story was,
mid,
very mid,
as the kids say.
Yeah, mid, as the kids say. And that was driven almost purely by its spectacle. So, there are different films, of course, but, that can bring people in.
And they also have the perfect marketing campaign. All you have to do, one race, just chuck up a few posters along the racetrack. Boom, it's all there, Yeah. I don't know the actual stats of how many people watch. I'm sure it's higher than like 20 million or something. Surely.
Probably something around that. At least the main race, yeah.
Worldwide, like I'm sure, like when it comes closer to its release date and when there's races along that time, you would see obviously F1 in the movie like going hand in hand and intersecting.
Yeah.
For promos.
Well, F1's at its kind of like peak in terms of popularity. It's blown up massively. That I've seen just people that I would never know to be interested in sports in general, let alone F1. Yeah. I just don't think it can get to the heights of Top Gun Maverick. That one was just...
I think that was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, lightning in a bottle. But, is $1 billion on the table if it's as great as Top Gun Maverick?
I think $1 billion is potentially on the table here. I just think it's going to be a scrape to $1 billion. It's not going to be an easy one.
Yeah.
I think its minimum is at least 850 to 9. If it's a good movie, obviously.
If it's a good movie, yeah.
It has to be good.
It has to be good.
Yeah. It has to be something like rewatchable. I hope the score's great, because Top Gun Maverick had an excellent score.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that trailer music left a lot to be desired, to be honest. Specifically that trailer music. I hate the sort of slowed down.
I just thought of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
when I heard that song, because it's on Guardians. So I was like, oh, okay.
That trend needs to die. Don't watch The Electric State.
Oh, is it jam-packed with them?
It's throughout the entire movie.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
God.
So you got Chris Pratt there leading it as well.
It's like a friggin' low-rent Guardians sort of like vibe. It's like, no thanks, this isn't working.
All right, we'll go into probably the main event of this podcast, which is Severance Season 2. I know I haven't discussed my thoughts, or I have very briefly with you guys, but we haven't gone in depth. It is a series that we have been watching closely and we're very excited for. The final episode just released yesterday and we've all seen it. So lads, Season 2, we'll talk about the finale and then Season 2. What are you guys' thoughts? By the way, Season 3 has been confirmed and greenlit.
Yeah, well, they clearly we're just waiting for the finale to drop before confirming it. It's like their most successful show, so I'm not surprised at all.
Try to keep it as spoiler-free as you can.
I reckon we can go for spoilers.
Okay.
People have time. I don't know when I'm going to release this, so I'll allow for a few days at least.
If you haven't seen it, then skip 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how long we're going to be talking about this, but yeah.
I've given them 5-10 minutes.
It could be 10, it could be half an hour. We don't even know. Thoughts on the finale first and then the season?
Overall, yep.
okay, I'll just do my finale ones and then we can wrap around to get into talk about the season. The finale was amazing. Just good, perfect, as you would like kind of think that Severance should be, or what the quality's kind of established so far. And it's hard to not talk about the finale's quality without talking about the rest of the season, but all the, chess pieces were set up to deliver in the finale, and it kind of just gave you so much. I think if I compare to season 1 finale, that one was it was more cliffhangery, and it just, I don't know how to kind of articulate that, but it left so much to be desired, but being satisfying at the same time. I felt like this one was a little bit.
It closed things off a lot more.
It closed things off a lot more. Yeah, you got a lot of closure on different things, and I think that's good because we are getting to the point of the show now where it's kind of you got to start wrapping up some stuff. You got to give the audience something because they've been interested for so long. So I think it delivered on that. The visual aesthetic was awesome, and just to see everything go down was just as soon as he gets back into the severed floor. And then like that accidental kill, I thought was just like
Brilliant.
amazing.
It was done so well, eh?
And just you got so much like emotional moments that were just we've been waiting for so long to see how that would go, and like I can't wait to see where things go from here. The Innie versus Audi dynamic was crazy. We've talked before about what value do Innies really have, and it's crazy to kind of see that now and like how they value their own lives, and it's just like. I was just like thinking in my head, like just talking to yourself, but on like a whole new level.
Yeah.
It literally was.
And just like watching, Innie Mark turn away from his wife is just like, I don't even know like how to really like process it. I still kind of am, but it was an amazing finale. Really, really well done. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my overall thoughts are that I got a ton of emotional closure out of it. And I would say like half like what I would call like technical closure or like explanation closure, where they gave us what Cold Harbor was.
Yeah.
Largely they've explained it. They've mostly explained it, kind of the intent behind it.
Yeah.
But there is so many things we still don't know, specifically about character motivations, which is nice because it means that there's more room going forward for us to uncover why people are doing these things or what their intentions are. But yeah, I mean, the emotional closure was actually really surprising. Like there were some moments throughout that, I was like on the verge of like crying because it was so. It was just really, really like strong emotionally, particularly the scene when Mark and Helly, they just sit down and he's just about to finish Cold Harbor.
Yeah.
He's finishing Cold Harbor and, he's talking to her and he's trying to rationalize whether or not he should do it.
Yeah.
And she's just looking at him and she's like going like, you have to.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it. That whole scene was just really, really beautifully done and really, really tender.
Yeah.
And you can almost, you see both Mark's perspectives. You see why they're both fighting for both women, which is, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And, the one thing I did say to James over the chat was that, we still haven't seen what proper reintegration looks like.
Yeah.
That's a complete bloody mystery, like what true reintegration looks like. There's a third Mark out there that is both of them combined. And what does that personality look like? What is that? How does all the trauma, when it all mixes together, what person does it create? Those are unanswered things, and those are things I want to see, and those are things I'm excited to see. So I think that this was very much like it gave me all the emotional closure, but it still left me open for more in the future. However, I could say if it ended there and it got cancelled, I could live with myself. I could, because you can kind of rationalize the way forward from there.
Yeah. I still think it'd be kind of gutting for it to end, just because it's like great quality television that we just don't get this stuff often
We don't.
at all, really.
But I would rather it end well than end poorly, end well early, and rather than end, poorly late with lots more seasons.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was fantastic as well. I'm on board with you guys. I did mention to James that I did like the ending of season 1 better than
Yep.
this one, but I'm not saying that I hate this ending. I just found it more like, obviously, it ended on a cliffhanger. I just really like that. But yeah, I thought this was fantastic. You know, it left so much things to open. You know, a lot of unanswered questions were answered, as in what was Cold Harbor,
Yeah.
and like finding out what actually happened is like, holy shit, how can like someone or a company like do this to a particular person? You know, like pretty much making like 25
Innies.
different innies off the
Yeah.
same person
Imagine her reintegration, eh? It'd be like, whoa.
is absolutely crazy, and then just being like, okay, 25's it, we don't need any more, let's kill her after this. It's
Yeah.
like, what? And then the fact that it was like Mark spearheading that against his wife, unknowingly
Yeah.
as well, it just
Yeah.
made it even more like emotionally impacting and stuff like that. And then obviously that ending, you know, like obviously Mark doesn't have that relationship with Gemma, but he has it with Haley. So I reckon if Haley didn't show up, he probably would have left with Gemma, and then obviously Audi Mark would have
Come and
pretty much got in his way.
Yeah.
I think he would have killed any Mark, honestly. I think that Ali Mark is the kind of guy that probably would have just not reintegrated in the end. The only reason he chose reintegration was to get Gemma back. That was the only reason. He did
Yeah.
not do it out of the conscience of his own heart.
Yeah.
And you don't really see any indication that he feels this great guilt about what he did.
And it's kind of fair enough because I mean I get really torn on this because I don't really value any Mark that much. Like call me a Lumen employee if you want, but I just don't see it, but I saw it a little bit more in this finale. It's like, oh, they are like the way they actually kind of talk about their own lives and how they value it and what they kind of want to do, and yeah, that's kind of where I want to see this show going forward, like making us understand just like how individualized these innies are compared to, or like and how they contrast to the Audis. But yeah, I mean, where the show goes, I'm very, very curious.
Yeah.
I'm also happy. I'd laughed inside like when the marching band came up with the different colored lights. I was like, oh, this is like season 1's dancing meme. Like, there's going to be a lot of gifts coming out
Yeah,
from this
I know,
and
eh?
stuff like that.
There were such characters, the dancing crew, just like I don't know, they were so animated at how they were doing everything.
Yeah.
They're just like such hype men.
Mr. Milchick continues to be the best character though.
He's
Like
goat.
when
he
gives
is goat,
when he
yeah.
gives that like letter to Dylan and he just sprints out. Of the It's
So random.
unexpected.
It's so funny. All
he's
right,
great.
season 2 as a whole.
As a whole. Now I think this is where it gets interesting in the conversation because I was not a fan of how this entire season was structured. I really loved the start and how it opened. I thought it was progressing really fast. I think we spoke about it. It's just like, oh my God, this is already happening in like episode 3. He reintegrated the end of episode 3 and not much really happened all the way up to the finale, I felt. At least what I can remember. Like, I know they go on that trip. I know that he has sex with both versions of Helena. I know that you got the fantastic Gemma episode, which was well needed, and then you got Cobal off doing her stuff, and I just felt it just being disjointed. I thought it, struck off the pacing a little bit, and I think Severance is a TV show that just thrives on having one centralized narrative that just pushes everyone forward rather than everyone doing side quests. Like Irving's doing his own thing. Dylan's falling for his wife. Helena has, daddy issues, and it's kind of just all over the place. So I hope we kind of get the reunion of the four coming back together and pushing it forward. I mean, Irving wasn't even in the finale, so is he done?
Yeah, it was almost like as if episode 9 was his closure. You know,
It
how
certainly didn't feel like it. I just
how he
thought,
left to go away on a train. Pretty much, I feel that was his closure.
yeah, but is he done? I don't know.
I don't
it feels
know.
Like, yeah,
There's something. It's such a mysterious show. There's something weird about. I don't know. There's just something weird about Irving's character. I feel like there are things we don't know.
yeah, like who was he calling in the phone booth?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Like what was his plan? He was clearly trying to investigate and infiltrate Lumen in some capacity, and we just don't really know.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if like he's just done, and because he wasn't spoken about at all, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I compare the two seasons, and watching Severance season 2, binge watching it, it would be a fine watching experience because you're going through it fast. But on a week to week basis, it got really hard by the end of it. But luckily, the finale tied it all together and it made it all forgivable. I think at least. But I think just moving forward, they just need to structure things a little bit better. The weird part about it is I've kind of liked every episode on its own, but just as one whole, not
Yeah, well,
as
it
much.
has the series has to work as a series, right? It can't work as individual movies or
Yeah.
anything like that. That kind of has to be a continuous feeling that comes across it. Yeah, I feel pretty similarly. I feel it was disjointed. However, I think really what it was trying to do was service something different than what season one did. Season one was really trying to pull you into the mystery and world of Lumen and Severance and that world. What this season was really trying to do was put each character under a microscope a lot more. I said this to you earlier, James. Like you get a microscope under Helena Egan. You get a microscope under Milchek. You get a microscope under Irving. You get a microscope under.
I don't feel that though. Like, I mean, Helen Egan, she's barely in the series. At least she has a couple moments with her dad, and then Milchek, we just know he doesn't like being told to use small words.
No, I
Or
think that's.
simple words.
I think that's an overall disservice to what it was doing. I don't think it's as simple as that. You learn Milchek's temperaments. You learn that he has a lot more emotional vulnerability than you think. You learn that he has a sense of bitterness about Lumen. You learn that there's an almost something racial going on there, a racial purity aspect to Lumen that's a
blackface
little.
Kia thing.
Yeah, there's all these micro feelings that's getting inspected. Of course, he still has to pretend to be a Lumen employee.
No,
but
I mean, I agree with that. I just think,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's microscopic in terms of how it dives into character.
yeah.
Sorry, you carry on.
Yeah, no, you're right. Maybe microscope's not the right word, but it's certainly diving into the characters more deeply, and I think that it's trying to humanize each individual to service potentially, and this is a guess, to service what you want in the end, James, which is really, I want to see I want to see the innies be humanized. And in fact, what I think we're going to see the outies or even the bad people humanized on some level. Like it's humanizing everyone to make it really conflicting when these people either integrate or you learn about their history, you learn about their intentions and their goals. It's very much about who they are.
It depends if this this kind of series can handle that scale, because I think what's so great about season 1 is that you're just stuck with these 4 characters the entire time. It doesn't need to go bigger than that, and it doesn't need to go like kind of Game of Thrones level in terms of going into every single type of character. I think just sticking with the mains, I think that's probably the best outing for this kind of thing.
Well, when you say sticking with the mains, do you mean sticking with the innies?
No, not like both versions of those characters.
Right. That's
So
what we
8.
got.
So 8, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, really 8 characters. Yeah. Because you've got basically 8 main characters there.
Yeah.
The innie and outie version.
But they're still kind of the same at the same time.
Yeah, they're still similar. Yeah. They've got similar
because
temperaments.
They're connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because their personalities are really, really same. Like, they're all like pretty much a different version of themselves, but like, it's not erratic. Like, like, for example, Audi Mark is not super positive and like happy and, flamboyant. And then Innie Mark is like real depressed and angry. We don't have like those sort of contrasts. It's more like sort of the
I mean,
same.
that's what Cold Harbor is. It was trying to sever people completely,
Yeah.
rather than having the stuff tied together in a way.
And when they say that, like they were trying to refine Severance to a point where it was
Completely
absolutely perfect. Like it was, there was no cracks in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25 times.
Maybe Lumen tries to do it on a mass scale, like you were suggesting, eh? Now
Yeah.
that they've figured it out.
I think that's the overall goal, so that they
Yeah.
can basically like brainwash people to be all Kia's children, essentially. Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the religious aspect to it, the cultish aspect.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
I guess maybe that's the direction that season 3 sort of goes in. It was obviously dealing with the conflict of what Mark has done, because like he knows that if he wants to stay with Helly he can't go back up, because as soon as he goes back up, Mark's not going to come back down.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, who cares about the Ennies that much? Because at the end of the day, the Audi has all the power.
Pretty much, because you
Yeah.
get
Well, not anymore.
Well, yeah, what he's just going to stay down there forever?
Yeah, well, what I
He will
find,
die of
what I
starvation.
think is interesting though, is that now there's a real conflict in terms of Helena Egan and Hallie, because Jane Egan basically said, "I don't like my daughter. I don't love my daughter. I prefer you because I see care in you." And he said that to Hallie.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
is he gonna? Are we gonna see Helena be the one now imprisoned, and Hallie be the prisoner because he prefers Hallie to Helena?
Well, I thought at the end that version of Hallie was actually Helena at the end. Because I feel like Hallie would have been like, no, go, go, go. Like,
Yeah, I saw some
And-
comments like that as
yeah,
well.
it felt weird, out of character, considering in the middle of the episode, she's like, you have to do this. Like,
unless she had like a second whim and stuff like that, and they could pull the whole love card and stuff like that to justify it.
it's going to be very interesting. Do you think they need one more season or 2 more seasons or 3+ to wrap things up?
I think max season 4, but they could easily wrap things up in season 3.
I agree. I actually think max is season 4, but it really does depend what direction they go in. Like if Lumen then decides that that they release the Severance chip, but it also manages to like cure Alzheimer's and cure a whole bunch of other things, right? And they say, get our chip in your brain, it will cure Alzheimer's, and it will cure this and cure that, and then a whole bunch of people do it. Then you're into a far more global sort of narrative that can go in a lot of different directions and have a lot of different meanings.
Is it the way that the show needs to
No.
go? Or should it just really
Again,
focus
it's
on
just a
these
stupid
characters?
idea by me, or a stupid thought by me. But like, I'm just using that as an example to say like how wide or small they could go in and what direction.
If the creators were like, we envision a 6-season thing, we got it all mapped out. Are you down for that, or you're like, nah, needs to cut it off earlier?
I think it'll.
Or do you trust the creators enough?
I think we'll need to cut it off early. I mean, we've seen it with Game of Thrones we were talking about before, Sure, they didn't have a vision, because they had the vision until the books, but like, with this sort of stuff, it's like season 6, it's like, how can you like make this interesting concept fresh and new
But I
over
mean,
the course of 6 years?
going against that, it could be the whole Ted Lasso thing where like they had to force to kind of end it. And they panicked and they came to a rushed ending. So if they do have 6 seasons mapped out, and then you like stop it at season 4, then they have to like re-scramble on how they want things to go for the rest of the way.
My only thing is imagine how long you'd have to wait to get to season 6.
2040,
We'd all be like
Ben-
40 years old by then.
Ben Stiller did say that it's not going to take 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I think we'll get season 3 in 2027. Better not be 2028.
I think it's going to be similar to like the wait time for The Boys and that stuff, like 2-year gaps.
Yeah, I
between
really hope
seasons.
it's at the end of next year. Like
That'll be good.
That would be
18
great.
months is nice, yeah. But TV needs to go back to being TV and not movies. Can't wait 2 years between stuff. It's just painful.
Yeah, I mean, Stranger Things casts have grown by like what, 15 years, 20 years now. Those kids.
That better releases, yeah. That one, that's been 3 years
Insane.
since the last one.
All right, we'll move on from one great TV show to another shit TV show, and that is Ted Lasso Season 4. Ted Lasso Season 3, we spoke about it on this podcast about how shit and disappointing it was after the highs of Season 1 and 2. there was always rumors about season 4 being in the mix, and now it's officially confirmed. Jason Sudeikis, Hannah Woodham, Juno Temple, Brett Goldstein, and Jeremy Swift, they are all confirmed to return. However, the main man, Jamie Tart, Phil Dunster, will not be returning. Small details is that episode 1 will be set in Kansas before heading back over to the UK, and the season will be centered around the management of AFC Richmond and around a women's team. Yeah. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I don't really have much to say. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't have any thoughts or anything beyond that, really. It's just, you forced yourself to end early, you fucked it up, and now you're coming back, and it's likely because of the success it brings to the platform. And so it's just money at the end of the day. I don't care, and I don't want to, I won't be watching it all. I think it ended in such a horrific note for me that I can't go back, and I won't even rewatch it with my girlfriend because I want to show her the first 2 seasons. So, I'm not going to support this kind of stuff in the industry where it's just about money when they tried to force it to end earlier than it needed to. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to watch it. I think it's going to be bad.
Guess it goes to show that they are desperate to get anything, considering they're losing another billion. This was a successful property for them. So oh shit, we could have made a lot of money here if we kept it going.
Yeah, I think Jason Sudeikis, just his intentionality to end it early was just, if you're going to come back now, but you needed to end it early then,
That was around homesickness though, right? Because wasn't he spending a lot of time over in Europe?
yeah, but he's going to go back to Europe for this, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone through a divorce and all that now.
Yeah.
So.
I guess he doesn't care about his kids. Just leaves them. He's sort that out.
Such character.
Yeah. But you kind?
Well, I won't be watching it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand why they're going through this all again. I mean, yeah, like you said, they rushed through all the characters. They kind of cheapened everything. I think that there was an opportunity there to do some really cool character storytelling in the format that it was, and it was a unique format and how positive it was. You could have really gone and hit some some tender spots, and it felt like it kind of had balls right at the end of season 1. I think, was it season 1 or season 2?
Depends what happens.
Yeah, the one when Nate goes bad.
Season 2.
Yeah, it felt like we were going to go into season 3 with some really, really kind of bold choices, and it just goes so opposite. It undoes everything. It kind of
forgiven.
Yeah. It just really it does the most sort of softball sort of kind of ending and cheapens all the characters that it's just sort of I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you guys, except I probably will watch just out of curiosity and just to see how shit it is. Well, someone has to relay the information to you guys.
You always watch the bad stuff for us.
Because I've been trained by my dad to watch shit quality content,
Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Yeah, I've been trained. I am the most capable person of watching it. So this is why I'll do it for you guys, and I'll tell you guys how shit it is.
Imagine if it was great, 99%.
Would you guys still watch it if it was that?
Maybe.
It depends on my life, if this comes in 3 years and I have kids, then nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends. There's so much context to that, but I probably not. I don't care. It's like if they did Game of Thrones season 9, would you watch that?
Probably not. It's pretty much finished, right?
But it was 99%.
I would watch it.
Of course.
I mean, it can't get any worse, right?
D&D directed.
Yeah, I mean, it can't get any worse, right?
But it is.
You'll be surprised.
All right. Cool, that's enough of Ted Lasso, I guess. I guess we have nothing else to say apart from how shit it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys, hit the link that's in the doc and go all the way down to the bottom. We'll work our way up and we'll just talk about the main topics. This is your listeners. This is our Oscar recap. We're almost a month late, but it's all good. You guys would have seen the results, and those of you out there that have been waiting for our podcast to analyze this, and you waited and you kept away spoiler-free, we appreciate you, and you're gonna get your results here. Cool. So the first one is original screenplay for writing. Should I go through the nominees and then announce one, or just the winner?
No, just go through the nominees. Just say them out loud.
Okay, cool.
people
So
context.
the nominees was Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance, and Anora won for original screenplay.
Yeah, that's good. I think this is a good one for the Academy. I guess making it win. I think that or A Real Pain would have been the ones that I was happy with.
Yeah.
A Real Pain, I still think did deserve it, but I'm happy with Anora winning it. I think it did deserve it. But yeah, I think A Real Pain was just kind of that screenplay-driven film that was really good at the end of the day.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I thought A Real Pain was. I can't remember if I had it as my should win. I'm pretty sure I did. Oh well, whatever. Adapted screenplay nominees were Conclave, A Complete Unknown, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing, and the winner was Conclave. I was pretty happy with that. I thought Conclave was the better movie out of all of these here. So I really did want it to get an Oscar, and gladly it won it for writing.
That's the only one that it won, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy considering it was like a best picture fighter. But yeah, I think they deserve it. I think all the other ones are quite weak here in terms of screenplay.
I agree. Yeah.
Conclave's really the only one that kind of stands out to me.
Yeah. Visual effects, you know?
Who won? Oh, Dune Part 2.
Dune 2 won visual effects. We'll just skip that.
Good.
It also won sound as well for you
Good.
guys out there. Production design nominees was Wicked, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, and Nosferatu. And the winner went to Wicked. I know you guys had some mad...
I strongly disagree.
some
You
mad
should've seen
beefs
on the
on
group
this.
chat. Kyan was livid, man.
He was.
There's so many other strong contenders here that honestly, it just shocks me that this fucking like bland paleted CGI fest won. And when I say bland paleted, color does not equal a good palette, right? Color to me is like there's a feeling behind color, and to me this was like very flat color. I did not care for that color.
Green and pink.
Yeah.
So you didn't like the color?
I didn't like the color in it. I felt that it was everything felt designed. Everything felt like a set.
I feel like that's the point of the movie. Designed. It's very unique. I think you need to rewatch the movie and good enough quality because the design of all those production sets are pretty incredible.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree they're intricate. I just don't like the way it felt. It felt to me cheap.
Well, you put a lot of weight into CGI mixed in with production design.
Because
it's like me saying Dune shouldn't win visual effects because a lot of the sets are practical. It doesn't make any sense.
No, I think that's completely different. I think that what I'm saying here is how I felt the production design felt versus the methods of which it was done. I don't think the methods are wrong on how they created their production design. I felt the feeling that I got from looking at it and the aesthetic I got from looking at it, it beautifully crafted stuff, but not, to me, it didn't evoke this feeling that it was real. To me, it looked like a set.
It's like saying
And when
Avatar didn't make it feel real. I mean, that's completely fictional land.
Yeah.
It's meant to be fantastical.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not. When I say real, I don't mean real in the sense of this looks like a real world. I mean real in the way that I buy it. I buy the aesthetic of the production design.
I really did. I mean, it took me into a new world. I think that's quite rare in today's kind of movies. I think it did the extra than what you kind of do see in anything that has like quite a heavy CGI behind it as well.
And
But
it felt like a magical sort of school that wasn't trying to rip off Harry Potter.
yeah, I mean,
You know, like the comparisons could have easily been made, but I've not seen any comparisons between how Wicked is like Harry Potter. It's like it's similar, but like the way that they designed the sets and everything was like different, so it didn't get those
But
comparisons.
you see the difference between Wicked and Harry Potter, for example. Harry Potter has a level of it, a degree to it, where even with its dated CGI, the the sets feel tangible in a way. They
And it
feel
didn't win production design.
yeah, I know, but that's just the judgment center I use.
I think the Academy looks at the design proponent about how unique it is. And I think that's where it really excels. Maybe not the feel, but the design aspect I think is excellent. But I mean, I can't be mad at like your opinion because all the nominees here, I think all of them are brilliant.
Yeah.
All of them are really good. But I think Wicked's a fine, deserving winner. But I mean, Nosferatu, Conclave, Brutalist, and Dune, they're all so good. I could actually be happy with anything winning from this, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
much.
to me, the one I didn't want to win was Wicked. For it, honestly, give it. There are many other things there that I would be fine with it winning. It's just to me, I was not a fan of the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Well, I could have won makeup and hairstyling.
Green.
All right, next one, best pick. No, we'll skip
Why is
that.
Best Picture in the middle of like the website?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so stupid.
Random.
We're gonna skip original song because no one cares about Amelia Perez.
No, Al Mal.
No, fuck that. All right, original score. So we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot, and the winner was The Brutalist.
It's kind of. You can go first.
I was gonna say, me personally, I did enjoy Conclave more than all 5 of these. So I was really hoping that Conclave would have maybe come out of it.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed it, The Brutalist. So I do get how it came up with the win.
Brutalist is a score that I don't particularly like. I wouldn't listen to it outside the movie, but it fits so brilliantly inside the movie, and it is really great for what it does. Conclave is something I do listen to outside of the movie. I think it's really, really good. And same with The Wild Robot. I think that has a great score behind it as well. But it was never going to win. Disappointed that it wasn't Conclave, but Brutalist is a worthy winner.
I can see, I really, really appreciate the music in Conclave. I just felt it was kind of the same song over and over again in a lot of it. Yeah, it was just the they kind of repeated it. And also, as I said to you, Nayan, earlier on, is that I felt it was... I didn't really understand why they went for that tone of music. I mean, I can't say it didn't work. It kind of worked for what it was doing. It was this very, it was just a very sharp kind of music, very analytical kind of music, very tense kind of music relative to the subject matter.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it should have picked something that was, tonally appropriate, for what it was. You can go for something unique. But... yeah, personally, I was going for The Brutalist to win. That was the one I wanted to win, and it really came down to, again, as you said, James, how tonally appropriate it was for it. It kind of had this brooding sense throughout it, and fit within each scene, and fit within each chapter.
Yeah,
That's how I felt.
Cool. Makeup and hairstyling. Nominees were The Substance, A Different Man, Amelia Perez, Nosferatu, and Wicked. And the winner was correct, The Substance. In my eyes.
Yeah, I don't really want anything else winning this. The Substance was, by far and away the deserving one for this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think The Substance deserved it. I think a close second is Nosferatu.
Not Wicked?
Green.
That's still makeup.
You're not wrong. It is fucking spray painted here. Yeah, I mean, there's a level to the Nosferatu makeup and hairstyling that is impressive. It's not at the degree of The Substance, and The Substance is just hands down better. But Nosferatu is still impressive with
It is very impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll scroll up a bit to film editing. The nominees were Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, and Wicked. And the winner was Anora.
I mean, shout out to Sean Baker winning an editing award. That's pretty impressive for, a writer-director to do that. I think Anora does deserve it, actually, because, that movie has such a dynamic kind of pacing to it where it kind of just switches and you don't really notice at the time, but then it's just constant chaos and tension, and it's just intense, and right until the very end where it just slows down to a halt, and then it allows you to kind of sit in these emotions that just kind of unravel out, and it's really a kind of a journey in the way that it paces it, and I think it makes it a very interesting viewing experience. So worthy of that. I think
good.
Brutalist is Brutalist sucks. The last half.
I
last
actually
hour
I
was-
actually agree. It's really drawn out.
yeah. Conclave was decent as well.
I actually, honestly, I would have been happy for Conclave to win. I thought they had fantastic editing. You know, to pace so many of these like meetings, like
Yeah.
in out and make it like structured really well. And
Yeah.
like him walking down into some offices and like wandering around and like talking to random people and like doing all of that and making it all like flow. Really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I would have preferred Conclave, to be honest, but just for the reasons that you noted. The next one's directing. Should we go into that, or should we skip it for second to last? No, we'll get into it. Cool. Directing, the nominees were Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, the Amelia Perez director, and The Substance, Coralie Fargett. And the winner was Sean Baker for Honora.
I don't know. If in terms of Sean Baker not winning one, this might have been where I felt most strongly. I mean, in terms of not my preferred choice, but in terms of who deserved it, might have gone with Brady Corbett. You know what he was able to do with that budget for a 3.5 hour movie. Sure, there were some parts that didn't quite work, especially kind of what things happen in the last hour, the pacing of it all. But bringing all that together in kind of those strict conditions is a tall task for any kind of director to do. And just, I guess, some of the boldness that he shows throughout some of those choices in the movie, I think it does deserve some kind of credit. Coralie Fargett, I would have liked, that would have been like a nice happy win where it's
I would
like-
have loved to have seen her
Yeah,
win because when
yeah.
you talk about bold,
Yeah,
that's bold,
exactly.
and that's a bold winner right there.
Yeah, and so if she had won, I'd have been like, oh wow, that's like awesome to see. And
Yeah.
no, that wouldn't be the first female director to win.
No,
No.
because
Jane Campion won. Was it Jane Campion?
yeah,
Jane
and Chloe Zhao won, don't she?
Yes, yeah. Okay,
And
which would have been cool to see.
and what was it? James Cameron's wife. What was her name? Catherine something.
Bigelow?
Bigelow. Yeah.
Oh, for
Great.
Zero Dark
Yeah.
Thirty.
Oh,
Hurt Locker, I think.
Oh,
she
Hurt
won
Locker,
for,
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I always get those two mixed up.
yeah. But I'm not mad with Sean Baker winning. I think, I don't know, maybe it was too strong of a sweep by the Academy. But it's fine.
Yeah.
Costume design. We have Wicked, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, and Nosferatu, and Wicked 1. Kyan?
You know, this is the one I'm not mad about Wicked winning. I think it's well deserved, quite frankly. Beautiful outfits, you know, worn for each character. Whole set, sort of the whole cast. Sorry. You know, it's all really great stuff. This is, you know, my second would have been Nosferatu, but again, it's just general kind of period stuff. There's not any sort of anything particularly interesting about the way it's done. I've seen that sort of period stuff been done before, but this is like entirely unique kind of styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in terms of like my second, I would have actually probably gone with A Complete Unknown.
Interesting.
It's the same kind of thing as Nosferatu, I guess. It's just, complete accuracy and how it feels in the world. It does really work. Or Conclave actually could have been pretty good. But Wicked, Wicked's deserving. I think all the costuming just adds so much character to the characters. It just adds a bit of uniqueness to them, and that's kind of what's so great about its costuming and why I think it was the worthy winner here.
Yeah, they like make different versions of pink for
Ariana Grande's.
like different, and then like different versions of
What's her name?
Glinda
Glinda, yeah.
or Garlinda, whatever.
Galinda, yeah.
Galinda and then Glinda or something.
Linda. Yeah, that's how I remember it.
And then like they made different versions of black costumes for I don't know, the
Wicked
witch.
of the West.
The witch. So I think they got really creative. I probably would have picked Nosferatu. That probably would have been my one to get the win. Cinematography, we have The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. And the winner was The Brutalist. I really think that Nosferatu probably should have gotten this. If not Nosferatu, then maybe Dune. I just think that the cinematography in Nosferatu was really, really good. You know, like they use. It wasn't quite black and white, but it was essentially almost a black and white film. You know, it was like always in like shot in like dark rooms and stuff. But what they did with like shadows and stuff, like the hand going over this entire like town, was really, really creative.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Nosferatu has some really unique shots that just kind of draw you in a little bit further, and it just kind of adds to the eerie atmosphere that the movie has for like its entire runtime. I think especially in that first half an hour, there's just so many like not jaw dropping, but like astonishing shots where I'm like, wow, this is like perfectly done. Eggers is just becoming a master at how he wants to visually lay out his movies. The Brutalist, I'm not mad about Brutalist, but I think Brutalist was actually very good. That shot of the Statue of Liberty is still one that like sticks with me. I thought it was just brilliant on how it appears after that like one long take going through the ship or wherever they're on.
Yeah.
Dune's also good, but yeah, that's all. Yeah, I don't really care about Amelia Perez, and I haven't seen Maria to really comment on it.
Yeah, I agree. I actually pretty fully there.
Cool. Animated film nominees were. Yep. The nominees were Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. And the winner went to Flow. Before James even speaks, I did have Flow as my could and should win.
Yeah, but his entire narrative over the award season was the Wild Robot should win. The Wild Robot's so good. The Wild Robot's amazing. Bold. Never been done before in an animated movie. It's Wall-E ripoff. No, it's not. It's good. It's just that we've seen it before. Flow is completely unique in what it does.
I've seen a silence animated film before.
All right. That's not really what it does. It's about the
I mean,
themes and the
kind
story.
of Wall-E kind of does
Yeah.
it at the start as well, right?
So there is
Flow is a ripoff.
people speak in the start of Wall-E, and advertisements and songs and stuff like that. You don't get that in Flow, but Flow adds so much mystery to its world just beyond animals running around and doing stuff. There is actually a lot of like what's going in, and there's like all these like metaphorical things happening with the bird and stuff like that. It just really draws you into the world, and by the end of it, I was left like just stunned. I really wanted to see more. I was quite hit. I get not personally, but like just I guess I emotionally felt the themes throughout the movie, and for a movie to do that with saying nothing it says a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, completely deserving. I'm a little bit harsh on the Wild Robot because Nayan glazes it like nothing else, and he did.
I just said it was good because it's like DreamWorks, and DreamWorks was like
great,
on
and
fire.
it's his justification for Shrek 5 being like his top anticipated second or something like that because of DreamWorks.
And nostalgia.
Huh?
And nostalgia. They work hand in hand.
Get hyped for Wild Robot 2. Redesign characters.
Fuck yeah, can't wait for that. Looks like AI.
But I am gutted for Inside Out 2 kind of not getting any kind of recognition this award season. I think it did deserve something at least. But yeah, a great year for animated movies. Like, can't really be mad.
Yeah.
Cool. Actress in a supporting role, we have Zoe Saldana, Monica Barbaro, Ariana Grande, Felicity Jones, and Isabella Rossellini. And the winner was Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez, which is probably the only award that Amelia Perez should have won.
I mean, that was like an absolute lock. Like,
Yeah, she
it
is
was
so
just
solid.
there's almost nothing to say about it with how much of a lock that was.
Yeah, and in my opinion, she does deserve it because that is a really weak year for supporting actresses. I think all these other actresses were great. They just didn't have much to do.
She was definitely the best one.
Yeah,
Out of those
but
five.
she was a lead, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Actress in a leading role was Mikey Madsen, Cynthia Avero,
Revo. Revo.
What did I say? Did I say?
Avero or something. Yeah.
Well,
Switch the V and the R.
it's all good. It's only 6 more episodes left, right? Carla Sofia Gascon. Don't correct me on that one. No one cares. Demi Moore and Fernanda Torres. And the winner was, surprisingly, Mikey Madsen.
Really surprising, in fact,
Yeah,
for a lot of
'cause-
Really
people.
surprising.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it was going to be considered. Like we'd basically see it on Oscar or just like on the Oscars as they were airing. Like we think that this is a lock for Demi Moore, and pretty sure it's Demi Moore. And lo and behold, Mikey Madison wins.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't going to say it was like impossible she was going to win. It was just like we were under the impression it was going to be Demi Moore.
Yeah, I mean, it is surprising. Actress just seems to always be the one that just is like the upset.
Yeah.
Like Emma Stone, like last year, and then there's been other ones where you just think that this person's going to get it because they win nearly every precursor leading up to it, and it's like, oh wait, no, Mikey Madison or whoever wins, and it's just like it's really surprising. But if Demi Moore wasn't going to win, then it was going to be Mikey Madison. I think all the other aspects of Anora, like it's writing, directing, editing, all that stuff that did win, I think it really helped Mikey Madison's case to actually get the win here. If Anora wasn't the front runner to win Best Picture, I think Demi Moore would have cleaned house or something. She would have won, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Actor in a supporting role, we have Kieran Culkin, Yura Borisov, Edward Norton, Guy Pearce, and Jeremy Strong. And Kieran Culkin won. He dominated pretty much every single precursor before the Oscars. And I think he was the most well-deserving out of these lot as well because his performance was just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, like I said this last time. I really, really, really like Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice. I thought he was great.
I'm doing a visual impersonation of him. Yeah. No. I mean, I love Jeremy Strong as well, but Kieran Culkin, I think, is by far and away the best one up from these in his role. I think it was just such a unique and hard role to capture, and I don't think many actors could have done that. It's kind of the same with Jeremy Strong, I guess, but Kieran Culkin was great.
Well, I think you're right in that not many actors could have done what Kieran Culkin did, but I also think that it was a role written for Kieran Culkin in the sense that like he doesn't have the variety of acting that like you can see like he is kind of the same character in like say Succession. It's very embedded in his persona and personality. It's kind of like, and that I'm not to say someone doesn't deserve an Oscar because of that, because they kind of like wrote a role around that person and like how they actually are.
Yeah.
But to me, like in some respect, there needs to be some thought put into the fact that an actor is there to transform into another character, not to be an extension of themselves.
Well, I mean, an actor can only really be as good as the movie. And I do think with The Apprentice, the screenplay that's presented to Strong does dilute his performance a little bit.
I agree. Yeah.
Kieran Culkin just has way better material to work with, and he can do so much more with that type of writing. So it does play an unfavorable, like, it gives him a bone, an edge over Jeremy Strong in that sense. But
what I felt, though, when I was watching The Apprentice is that every single time Jeremy Strong was on screen, I was kind of drawn in. I was drawn in.
Scene? Every scene.
What do you mean?
Have you seen the movie?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I think that it's one of those movies where like I honestly would have preferred him to be the lead and the Trump role to be like supporting character. Because it just like not a cameo but just a supporting role, because I just felt him to be a more interesting person to sort of dive into.
Yeah,
like he just seemed more interesting.
He was interesting. Yeah. I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think he maximizes what he can from the role.
Yeah.
Actor in a leading role, we have Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet, Coleman Domingo, Ralph Fiennes, and Sebastian Stan. And the winner was Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. He cheated because they used AI for him.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, he should have been disqualified because, AI to enhance his performance.
Yeah.
I mean, we always knew he was going to win as well. He became a lock by the end of it. Timothy Chalamet.
It was a bit of a surprise, really.
Yeah, I mean, he won the SAG, and we thought he might have had a chance, but I don't know. Adrian Brody deserved it. I wouldn't have been mad if Timothy Chalamet won it. I wouldn't. And I kind of just wanted Ralph Fiennes to get his legacy award because I think he is the best actor that's never won an Oscar yet. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope his time comes soon.
Me too.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. And Best Picture, we have Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Doom Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. And dominating the Oscars for 2024/5 was Anora, and that is what won Best Picture. Anora.
Should have been Nosferatu. Because the production design was so good. It just...
Didn't even get nominated.
Certainly better than fucking Wicked.
Well, one got nominated for Best Fiction, the other didn't. So I don't know what that tells you. I joke. And Nora, it completes the sweep here. Sadly, I want to see more diversity in the winners, but it's a fine winner. Great movie. I'm sure we'll get to our top 10s of 2024 at some point soon. So
Yeah.
we'll see where it appears on our list. I would have really have loved just a big, bold swing by the Academy and something completely out of, something different to win, even if it's like something like A Complete Unknown, which I'm not big on, but like shakes things up and we're like, what? Or The Substance or Dune Part 2 is never going to happen, but, I'm always wanting in these kind of award ceremonies to be interesting and surprising, and it kind of sucks that there is all these bloody precursors that show us what's going to win or what's most likely to win. It would be kind of cool if the Oscars was first, and in terms of voting, and then we got to see the rest of the award system play out because we wouldn't know who's going to win, based on the nominations. We knew that Zoe Saldana, Kieran Culkin were all locked, but if it was first, Golden Globes always goes first, and that one always kind of gives us the idea. Yeah, but it's annoying that Anora swept, but it's not like I don't think it deserved it or anything.
It's just not in general, like not a particularly strong year.
It was a weak,
Yeah.
weak year.
It was.
Yeah.
It's like almost like we've been coming to this trend where it's like a filler year, strong year, filler year, strong year. You know, like last year, when I say last year, I mean 2023, like we had, there were so many locks already, but then it was also like, oh, are they actually locked? With Oppenheimer and other stuff like that. And then the year before that, it was just a filler year where it was just like, oh, who knows?
Yeah, but even if it's a good year, we just know who's going to win by the end of it. It's kind of it doesn't make it as interesting.
No, it's true.
Because Oppenheimer's going to win everything. It's like,
You can just ignore the precursors.
it's
Somehow.
so hard to miss that kind of thing, especially with like the betting markets being so popularized these days, and like you can just see odds just pop up on anything now.
Bet responsibly, people.
Yeah, you're learning from the best.
You are. And on that note, we will wrap this up. All right, that will do us on the 94th episode of Let's Be Real. Thank you for listening to us. We are delayed, but we are getting to that final destination of 100. If you'll reach there, do not follow us, but listen to us on our previous episodes. Thank you, everyone. We are Movie Gains, and we'll see you later.
Peace.
Bye-bye.